We can.
I'll share the first part. I can go in my flow if that's better
Okay.
for my part. Is that cool?
That works. We just have to give you co-hosts, yeah?
Okay.
Let's see if I can do that. There we go. Thanks, Liza.
Okay, like Liza said, I didn't even get my ancient oils collection yet. And so bear with me. I'm going to do the best that I can. Really, the whole point of what I wanted to feature going over this collection was the history of it. I wanted to get the essence of the passion that Emily Wright was giving when she did her podcast on this and when she did all her social media, because anyone that's been with the company for a while knows that this was many, many years in the making, and it's very special. And some of the oils were really hard to come by, and that's why it didn't happen in the past. And so the big thing that they wanted to convey with this was connection, right? The reality that doTERRA, we're a global company and we're all part of the human race, and we all have a global citizenship, and we all have a global heritage that can be connected through space and time and ancient times. And they were hoping that this kit would bring that together for us. And it's amazing how a song or a smell or a memory can bring that for you. Okay. So this collection was inspired by the contours and the cultures and the peoples of the distant past. The collection comes in a beautifully designed natural wood box, and it includes 6 essential oils used by the most important people in the world as for their health benefits and to improve their well-being in the ancient times. They're all CPTG. There's myrrh, frankincense, galbanum, hyssop, cistus, and common myrtle. All of them are 5 ml, except for the hyssop is 2.5. The gift box that it comes in, this is a unique piece of artistry in itself. It's like a gift itself. It's made from pine wood. It has the olive leaves adorned and carved on the front of the box. And then on the side, they put the doTERRA logo actually wood burned. So these special touches that are added to the box, it gives it that earthy, like ancient vibe, similar to an ancient scroll, an antique jewelry box, or even a diary of a prophet. Perhaps the gift box itself can serve as your own manifestation box or God box to put your clear intentions in it to be offered. And the whole point of this was connection to our past, connection to our global heritage. There was one vocabulary word I wanted to feature here. All the podcasts, all the research I did, this one word kept popping up, and it was kind of a weird word, like what does it really mean? And it's antiquity. Antiquity. It means the ancient past, especially before the Middle Ages, the Great Age. So anytime you see in the slides or the podcast, they talk about antiquity attached to culture, it's referring to that culture's past in that time period. So if that makes any sense. I got the majority of this information from our Essential Oils Solutions podcast. It's the one that Emily was really pushing, and she did her most extensive review of this kit on. It's a really cool podcast. There's over 100 different episodes. I think this was like episode 107 or something. I put it in the chat for you. It's fun if you're doing a walk, if you're exercising, just in your downtime. It's a great podcast to listen to as part of your daily practice. And let's get right into it because there's 6 of them. I really wanted to feature the story and the history behind each oil. We know a lot of times what they're used for. A lot of the uses are similar, but I thought focusing on what part of the world and the stories that were attached to each oil would help us to take that and give us a deeper meaning to the spiritual and mystical qualities of our pass through the oil as well. And so our first one is myrrh. The resin was given to baby Jesus by the Magi to represent his mortality. It was considered an anointing oil symbolizing holiness. Queen Hatshepsut, which I probably said wrong, she was the first female pharaoh, and she dispatched an entire fleet of ships to the land of Punt. And they were asked to bring back an entire uprooted myrrh trees so that she could transplant them into Egypt. At the time, this was totally unheard of. Myrrh really thrives under a specific harsh environment, which shows you how resilient it is. So as we use myrrh in our bodies, understand it's really increasing that resiliency for all of us too. There is also the Assyrian and Greek legend about how the myrrh tree received its name from the Syrian king Theseus's daughter, whose name was Myrrha. And they say that she was being transformed by the protective gods into a myrrh tree so that she could escape her father's homicidal fury. And so they believed that the resin, the trees that fall from the tree, are actually Myrrha's tears. So you can see there's a very protective properties when it comes to myrrh. Myrrh was also used in traditional Chinese and Ayurvedic and Unani medicine, mostly for female issues. There are many references to myrrh in the Bible. So most scholars believe that stach, which is of Latin and Greek origin, is in fact myrrh. And this was used as the ingredient in the Holy Tabernacle blend with Moses at Mount Sinai. So when you look at the resin's tears, myrrh is going to be very, very gummy, thick, sticky. That's why a lot of times your bottle gets stuck and crusty. It's fantastic for the throat, hair products, reflex points for the female, and all things skin and restorative. It's indigenous to Africa and Arabia. And so as you use myrrh, because of its history in those countries, you're welcoming the history of those heritages and the vibration of the culture of that country into you as well. Next is frankincense. This was also given to baby Jesus as a symbol of his royal birth and even deity. It was highly, highly prized by the Egyptians, Assyrians, Persians, Macedonians, even the Kushites. For millennial, frankincense resins had been sought after by kings, queens, rulers, people in high positions. Today, they remain a key component of what is believed to be the oldest supply chain in the world. The Phoenicians would purchase entire boatloads of resins, using them in incense, perfumes, salves. The Greeks and the Romans also imported massive amounts of resins, which they burned as incense and used for embalming. But know that having frankincense, this gave you a position of power. You could literally trade it for anything because everybody wanted the resin. There's a famous frankincense trail. It's about 2,000 miles. It's a trade route, and it dates back approximately to 500 BC. In Somalia now, fish is the only thing that's really above frankincense. And Somalia doesn't really have much industry. So that really goes to show you that they still hold the frankincense trade tradition to this day and how important it is. Frankincense resin tears are much more dry than myrrh. It's currently sourced in Somaliland, Oman, and Ethiopia. Of course, we know it's the king of oils. It's pure brain food for your immunity, your tissues. Emily loves to put it on her brain stem. She kept saying that over and over again, and I think I'm going to start to incorporate that. It is the most versatile oil, and it's very restorative. Okay, this next one was galbanum. I've never smelled galbanum. I've never used it. It's in the Old Testament and it was loved by the Egyptians. The thing with galbanum is it's originally from Iran. And so it's very, very difficult for us to obtain because we cannot import from Iran at this time. So this was one they had to go through many lengths and many things had to line up for us to get galbanum. Emily was explaining that we were finally able to get it in Turkey and then ship it from Turkey to our frankincense distillery in Oman. It's considered an umbelliferous plant, so it looks like an umbrella, and the gum oozes from just above the root system. It's a very bitter, intense aroma, something that you would really expect from an ancient oil. It was thought to have mystical powers by most ancient civilizations. It was one of the ingredients in the Holy Tabernacle, just like myrrh and frankincense, that God gave to Moses on Mount Sinai. And it was meant to be placed on the altar, so it has a lot of holy references. The purpose of this blend was to prepare one for the entry into the Lord's tabernacle. I wanted to bring Emily's voice and energy into this to remind us of how Eliza brought her in to our group call during convention, because she's really passionate about galbanum. Can you hear it?
Has been referred to in Greek mythology as the sacred mother resin. It was treasured by the Egyptians as a sacred substance. In fact, the green incense of Egyptian antiquity is believed. It is also used as a fixative.
Okay, this next one is hyssop. It was really difficult to supply. It's mentioned 10 times in the Old Testament, twice in the New Testament. It was an integral part of Passover and at the crucifixion of Jesus. So the name itself comes from the Greek word hyssopus and the Hebrew word for azop, which is a holy herb. It was used for cleaning sacred spaces. So they would put it on ancient floors in hopes to purify the air. The Romans also believed it to protect them, and they made an herbal wine out of the leaves. Galen and Hippocrates used it in traditional practices. They would talk about it and say it would driveth away the wind that's in the ears, take it away the itching and the tingling of the head. It's important to know that this is an evergreen garden herb, so it's a member of the mint family. So it's recommended that pregnant women and those with epilepsy should avoid using hyssop. Its uses are to open up the airways to improve your breathing. It's a very therapeutic nature. It's good for cooking, aromatic condiment, cleaning sacred spaces, and protection. As you can see, it's indigenous to Egypt. Cistus. Cistus is indigenous to the Mediterranean countries, Portugal, Spain, Morocco. It is known by many different names: rock rose, labdanum, revered rose of Sharon from the Song of Solomon, the resin that comes from the small flowers of the evergreen shrub. The thing I thought was cool is they discovered it because shepherds would go to clean out their sheep and their goats, and they would try and brush these flowers out of their coats. And that's when they discovered that cistus had these important properties. They traced it back to prehistoric caves. It has a very intense and sweet aroma. The resin that it produces is really dark in color, very, very sticky. It was used by ancient Egyptians as an incense and perfumes, often used in royal and spiritual ceremonies. And it contains some of the same chemistry as frankincense. So it has a lot of the same benefits. It's a deep floral aroma that can quiet your mind and really kind of take you back to a simple time. It's used for blending, balancing. It's a delightful aroma for perfume. It helps rid your mind of negative thoughts and emotions to promote a more positive outlook in life. It's a great meditative oil. It's used in royal and spiritual ceremonies. And the last one is the common myrtle. Again, it's mentioned in biblical times as one of the choice plants of the land, and it's symbolic to God's promised blessings as one of the trees mentioned in the Feast of Tabernacles. It's also one of the 4 blessed plants used in Jewish writings as well. And the ancient symbolism of the myrtle is prosperity, hope, love, justice, and recovery. This is a tree that thrives along the water, which symbolizes recovery, fulfilled promises, and it's quite beautifully matched in ancient scriptures. It was considered sacred to Venus and was used as an emblem of love in wreaths and other decorations. It was also tied to Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love and beauty, depicted adorned on myrtle's dainty white flowers and aromatic leaves. During the Renaissance, it came to symbolize everlasting love, and thus began the tradition of including it in bridal bouquets. Even today, the British royals still carry that custom. It has very similar properties to lavender. It originated in the Middle East and the Mediterranean region. It's very common among indigenous shrubs found all over Israel, and it also still remains wild in Galilee. It's used in bouquets for soothing the tissue. It's restorative, protective, invigorating, and it's cleansing. And so really, by having these ancient oils from important places all around the globe, the intention is to increase our global connection to our ancient heritage and to each other, and to transcend our ancient heritage and take our current consciousness now to the consciousness of the antiquity times. And so that's all I have. I was hoping someone would share something about the smells that have it in front of them, because I don't have it in front of me. So if anyone wanted to share with more details, please go for it.
That was so good, Dani. Thank you so much. Aisha, I see her clapping, and Kate. That was just really, really informative. And I really love how you presented the information too, with just so much intrigue and passion. Like, I can tell that you enjoyed learning about it. And I'm so grateful that you brought that information to us tonight. So does anybody else have them in front of them? Did anybody get them? Anybody else? All right. Well, y'all know I woke up right when they opened and got my orders. So I will go through this small. I wrote that I did diffuse as I was opening this cystis. And I did a drop of cinnamon with it. I'm like obsessed with cinnamon. I'm diffusing cinnamon constantly lately. And it's very strong, like you mentioned, not bad strong, but just very strong. Like, I think if I had done any more than 1 drop, it would have been too strong. So it's a florally scent, but it's really, really powerful. And then we know myrrh and frankincense. I wanted to say, and I mentioned in the comments, but frankincense we source from 3 different places because we use 4 different types of frankincense, and the combination of all 4 is what's found to be the most effective in synergy. And so that's why we source from 4 different places. Hyssop. Oh, what is that smell? I feel so much pressure having to smell this and describe it to you. It almost has like a faint, like, it's again a very powerful smelling oil. It almost a little like has citrusy undertones to me though. Yeah, I don't know. That's not very helpful. Okay, I suck at this. All right, moving on. Common myrtle. Let's see. Oh, that's really strong. That smells more planty, herby. I mean, I know it's a plant, but like, I don't like the smell of cut grass, but like, you know, like almost when plants are picked or are really, That's what that smells like. Okay, next time I should not be the one to do this, but we'll just keep on keeping on. There's only one left that you have to live through. Galbanum. Oh, I didn't open this one yet. Oh, now that's very earthy. Woody. But you know what? None of them smell bad. They're all just very strong. That's the thing. None of them smell bad at all. But they're all very powerful and potent. So I look forward to you guys getting them. And I won't lie, it's not like I know what to do with all of them. But I just felt like I needed to have this collection, and we'll be posting more education about them in the group as time comes. But as you find different ways to use these oils, please share in the group as well for those of us that invested in it and want to use it. And then here is that beautiful box, and there's the wood burned doTERRA symbol. And so, oh, okay, well, I didn't mean to shake it, but wow, we're winning over here. So I'm probably gonna leave it out displayed like this. Honestly, this is beautiful too. This little, right, the olives that she described. So, all right, that didn't go over well. Thank you, Dani, so much for sharing tonight. Tosh said, was the call for visionaries this morning recorded? Yes. And I actually shared it right onto our Central Island Living VIP page, Tosh. So you can go back and catch it there as well if you want to see that. And I'm sure they talked about it even more. All right. So we're going to go ahead and say goodbye to our Facebook friends in our Central Island Living team that are watching. And we're going to go ahead and move into our biz portion with Miss Kate Welchie. So Kate, take it away.
All right. Hey, everyone. I'm going to jump into our topic for the night. And it actually took me a little while to figure out what I wanted to share with everyone. We've gone through a lot of different topics recently. And so I just really thought about it this weekend. And for me, this weekend was kind of all about setting big goals, setting intentions for this month, and strategizing. So I thought, you know what? This is a great thing to talk about with the whole team because it's the beginning of November and this is a really good month. So that's what we're going to talk about is setting intentions, setting goals, and then how to track them throughout the month. So it's kind of very real time, and hopefully everyone can get kind of a little bit of a tidbit from it. I'm very in my strengths, I'm very much a strategic person and an executor. So I kind of just get to business sometimes. So we'll do that. I'm going to share my screen. And Dani and I were using the same Google Slides. So you're going to see it has the same theme. We educators like to try to make it interesting and engaging right now. All right. So like I said, we're going to do some setting of intentions tonight and some November planning. My team's probably going to be like, oh, you talk about this all the time, but no, it's fine. All right, so we're going to jump right in. So November is a really, really big month. It is, to me, I almost feel like it's the best month of the year. I know December's great, October, September are good too, but November is the month. So this is the month where you really do want to dream big. You want to really think about where you want to be, because I have to tell you, I don't know if it was last November, actually, I think it was. I didn't dream big, and I think I could have hit a bigger goal than I did, and I didn't realize it till like the last week. And I thought, oh, I totally didn't plan that out well. So I will never let that happen to me again, because I'm also an achiever and I like to accomplish things. So right now, as we jump in, just kind of think a little bit bigger than what you normally do with your goals. Kind of push yourself as we talk about goal setting right now. We're going to talk about possibilities for the month, prioritizing and planning, and then how to track that over time. And I put this little note for myself to remember. We are hoping and are almost sure that BOGOs will happen. However, we always wait and it's not official till it's announced. So that's my disclaimer to everyone. I'm not announcing BOGOs, but I'm just gonna say they're probably gonna happen. So we might as well plan for it because every year I've been in the business, the last 5 years, it's happened in November. So, but I have to say that disclaimer. Liza approves, I could tell. All right, so just kind of big idea. I know we've seen this before, but it's especially true for this month. A goal without a plan is only a wish. So we don't want wishes right now. We want a plan, and of course, we want that goal. So 2 ways to make your goals. Of course, we can make a million goals. We can say, I want to enroll this many people, do this, that, the other. But the 2 main goals, when your leader, your person asks you, what are your goals this month? They want to hear from you. They want to know, what rank are you going for? And then also, are you trying to hit a certain power of 3 goal? At this point, I make those 2, and I try to do enrollment goals too, but for sure have these 2 in mind. And so right now I want you to think about what's a safe goal for yourself for rank this month. So a safe rank goal might be kind of what you've been hitting month by month. And then I want you to look at that next rank up, maybe the next 2, kind of depending on where you are, and think about that dream rank goal of yours that could happen this month. I want you to write that down for yourself. These are your intentions tonight. I'm going to write mine down too. Of course, we know with the details how it could look, but just push yourself. Write that goal for yourself. What is that dream goal? And then for your power of 3 goal, look at what's that next level. If you're hitting your 50 already, then maybe 250 would be that next one. And of course, it's kind of depending for that one on what your structure looks like. If you're a brand new builder, 50, which should definitely be your goal this month. And then some of those that are making their 250, that 1500 would be that next possible level. So get those down for yourself so you kind of know where you're heading and what those big ideas are. And so as you're moving forward, it's super important when you think about that rank goal, you need to know what those ranks, how to actually achieve it. So this is just a quick reminder. I know a lot of us know this already, but it's always good to look again. Executive is 2000 PV. Elite is 3000 PV. And if you notice for those 2 ranks, you don't have to have any of your builders with a certain amount of PV or a certain rank under you. This is your whole team. So these ranks are in that way easier to accomplish as a lone builder because you don't have to have those people building along with you. It's great if you do, but you can get there on your own. However, when you bump up to Premier, this is where you need some builders with you. So as you can see, Premier is 5000 PV, and then you need to have 2 personally enrolled executives. And that personally enrollment of those executives is important because if they are not your personal enroller, or if you don't have personal enrollership, you won't hit Premier. So you need to be paying attention to those enrollerships. Silver is 3 personally enrolled elites. Gold is 3 personally enrolled premiers. So when you go back to Premier, making sure those premiers you have those 2 personally enrolled executives. And then for platinum, 3 personally enrolled silvers. And I kind of tapped out on that rank on this slide just because I kind of know our team. I know Liza's on the next level there. And for diamond, it is 4 silvers. And then the next one, which is blue diamond, is going to be 5 golds. And I just know that's her dream big rank goal this month. And I know she's going to hit it because she is the most strategic of all. Are.
What's
All
funny
right.
is I'm not. I like all my strengths are not strategic strengths. I have one at number 10 and then they're all like at the bottom. Isn't that funny?
That's crazy. That is really crazy. But you definitely are an executor and an influencer. And then my little note to myself too is talking about that rank tracker. They are a way to track your ranks, which we'll talk about another way too that I use. But the rank tracker they're great. They're in your different guides that are build to premier, build to silver, build to gold. If you don't have one of those guides, message whoever your leader is. I have a bunch in my own stuff that I'm happy to give to people. And I'm sure Liza, Kanan, Aisha, Tasha, Fraser, all of us are happy to do that. All right, Power of Three goals. Kind of just snag this picture. This is a big tip for BOGOs and when you're making extra orders. Make sure you have some sort of overflow account, especially when you're trying to hit a Power of Three goal. It might be your mom's account, it might be your good friend, it might be your cousin, and just make sure you have somewhere when you have extra PV or extra orders to make that you can place them in the places you actually need to hit your Power of Three goal. Because as BOGOs come up, of course, we want everyone ordering off their own accounts. It's super important, but you are going to get here or there some orders from friends. They're like, oh, just give me this one. I don't want to do it. I don't want to know my account, or I don't want to order right now. You know, they don't want to start a membership yet, which we'll talk about more, but just be ready to make those extra orders. And I always like to order 1 or 2 extra sets because if you notice, everyone always scrambles and then they forget. And so I usually do that, and I do that on my extra kind of overflow accounts or my friends' accounts. But always, if you are doing this, make sure you're communicating with that person so it's not like a surprise. And it's a win-win when you do use someone else's account because they are earning points from that order. That's kind of your gift to them. And then they're allowing you to use their account, which is nice because then it helps you out.
Hey, can I jump in real quick? Can you go
Of
back
course.
to the last slide? So Cammie's asking, how does that affect them as far as taxes? So if they're just a customer, if they're helping somebody get their Power of Three, then the taxes thing, it does not affect them. Now, I will say this. You have to buy, if you buy, I believe it's something like $600 a month or more on your personal doTERRA account, even if you're not set up as a builder, you can possibly get something from the company at the end of the year, just because they're kind of assuming that you're possibly reselling a lot of that product. But I shouldn't have even said that because I don't even know about that. So if they're just a customer that is helping to fill somebody's puka for $50 bonus, then they're not affected by taxes at all. Now, if they're a person that has downline, say they're like a placeholder, family member that's a placeholder that might place a small order every month, or maybe you're using their account to place orders from, then you want to have a conversation with them about that. If you make more than $600 a year, you will get a 1099 from doTERRA at the end of the year. That's basically how the tax thing works. And then you have to pay, income tax on that. So I hope that answers your question. Oh yeah, and Fraser said it. So overflow accounts don't need to be wellness advocate. They can just be customer accounts. And yes, the placeholder I was thinking of. Yeah. So you want to make sure that they're happy with making the money, and that there is a possibility that if they make that money every single month, that they will get a 1099 at the end of the year from doTERRA. Thanks.
All right, good details to know about. All right, so jumping into some possibilities. This is where kind of, your action steps are going to start. So get with your leaders, with your builders, make a plan for a bunch of things. You want to make a plan with how you're going to engage with your customers. Who's going to communicate with whom? I feel like my team finally figured it out recently, which I'm really happy about because there was a lot of confusion, which it started because I would just do everyone. And then it was like, okay, let's, make sure that people are contacting your own customers that have the connection with you. And anyway, we worked it out, and how our team is doing it is we just go with personal enrollership. If you have enrollership of that person, then we contact them, and kind of just trickles down. And so they're also contacting their builders under them with whom they have their own customers to make sure we're kind of duplicating that communication cycle. So I feel like for my team, at least in the last couple months, has been really awesome, and we're being more systematic about that communication. So make sure you're talking to your builders and be like, okay, are you contacting them? And then it's a great time to just clear the air. If they're not, then be like, hey, it's November. You don't want your customers to miss out. So make sure you communicate. And so then it's happening, and it's not a guess of who's communicating. And people don't like to get 3 messages saying the same thing. So we don't want to over communicate either. So that kind of covers who you're communicating with, how you're going to do it. Are you going to do a text? Are you going to do an email? What are you going to say? When are you going to send it? All these things have to be pretty strategic, because you want to do your communication before it actually hits. Because if you're communicating at noon on the day of the BOGO, you just lost hours of time that people could have actually been ordering or moving forward, with their day. They're going to forget about it if it's too late. So definitely make that plan with your builders. Also make a plan with your builders for looking at reactivations, which are people within your team that are inactive. And we're going to talk about how to do that, but just looking at that and saying, hey, do you have anyone on your team that's inactive that could reactivate again, maybe have a tailored communication with them, and then also for new enrollments. And then another big possibility is your customers. This is where you want to, kind of like I said before, make sure you're engaging with them with everything. Already, we had the opportunity this last weekend to communicate about the November promos and the holiday products. So if you haven't done that yet, do it, because time is ticking and holiday products are going. So again, thinking about how you're going to communicate with them, email, text, call, and especially for BOGOs, make it fun. Last BOGO season, a week, I should say, I did a communication with my team my customers through email. And I told them, every day that you order a BOGO, I'm going to put your entered to win a prize each day. So I gave away 5 different products, and it was all the things I have that have been, sitting around my house that I'd love to gift forward. And so I just kind of tracked who did orders, and I would email, this is the winner for the day, da, da, da. And it took a little bit more time, but I think it definitely generated some excitement. I know our visionary team, sometimes they talk about creating your own little mini Facebook group, which definitely, if you feel like doing that and offering prizes for those who engage and order monthly, you can do it. Just remember, they also have our Facebook group too. So it's always kind of a balance of doing something extra, because our team also has such a great support system. But your teams are your teams. And I think if you want to do something fun like that, you should just go for it, because that's going to get them more excited about ordering and learning about the oils. Because the whole point of that engagement is it's an extra opportunity for you to teach. And that's the most important thing about this week too. It's educating them about all these new oils that they don't have, or they want to learn more about, and then they want to have them in their home for themselves and their family. All right, and so another one that is a huge possibility this month is just communicating with your inactive customers, so engaging them. So anyone who has not ordered for 6 months are considered inactive. And so when someone's inactive, you have an opportunity to actually move them on within your team structure. You can put them in a place that you actually need them, which is always great. So one way you can track that is using your back office. And one of the columns, which we're going to look at in a little bit, is the last order date. So you can make sure you have that column. You can click on the top and it will organize it by date. And you can find exactly who hasn't ordered for 6 months. And this is your opportunity to reach out to them, see how they're doing. You know, life situations right now are probably changing or have changed since you last talked to them. Offer a solution for whatever they're going through. Just connect with them, especially if they're inactive. You know, they obviously are needing a little bit more education and connection. And just kind of a how-to, if you haven't done this before, to reactivate someone, that person, that customer, needs to send an email to placements@doterra.com with that template. So they, what I like to do is I will write the template out for them and I'll forward it to them so that they can just kind of copy and paste and send it straight to placements. So it's really easy. So member ID requesting change would be them. Member ID to be moved would be same, or you could just copy their name again. New enroller, this is a person you enrolled. They would not have a new enroller, it'd be yourself. And then your new sponsor would be where you want them to be. So this is kind of a thing we don't always do, but every once in a while you have the opportunity to reactivate someone. And then give them something for reactivating. Sometimes I won't even kind of think about it till after the fact, and then I'll just be like, oh, let me give them a book, or let me give them this, because then they feel more connected. They are grateful that you help them reactivate, and then also for getting this special gift that you give them. So definitely love on your customers, especially when they reactivate.
And
all right.
hold on, one real quick thing. I don't know about you guys, but I get emails from doTERRA every so often telling me about customers that they've sent emails to with a promotion to reactivate. So if you haven't gotten these yet, it's probably because you haven't had a bunch of customers that have not ordered for 6 months. But because I've personally enrolled so many people, I do have a lot of those customers. So, you know, maybe once a month I'll get an email from doTERRA with a list of 4 or 5 people that's saying we sent these people this email saying if they placed a 100 PV order, and it doesn't even have to be an LRP, just a 100 PV order, they can get, I think it's a free Breathe Touch or a free bottle of Breathe. It might be a free bottle of Breathe, actually. It's not a Breathe Touch.
I think it's a bottle.
Yeah, it's a bottle of Breathe. So, you know, try to be aware of that too. Pay attention to your emails if doTERRA sends you those, because then you don't have to offer the promotion. doTERRA's already done it, or you can sweeten the deal and just offer something like a hand spray, or you know, I know Fraser loves to give away like cute DIY gifts and whatever. It doesn't have to be anything expensive. So
thanks for remembering that. I have gotten a few of those emails. I'm being a little bit more systematic too of my communication right now, so it's been helpful. All right, and then of course, new members. This is like the best time to enroll someone, because those people that you've been talking to that maybe weren't quite ready, they are going to be excited about getting a good deal, and they're going to get a ton of free oils if they were to enroll with a BOGO, and cross our fingers if we get that BOGO box again. That is like the perfect enroller time, because they get that whole kit, and it's a big kit, and they pay the $35 membership fee, or you can even offer to pay that fee for them. And I know as a new builder, you probably aren't quite ready to be gifting that yet, but if you have upline, you can ask them, hey, you know, I have this person, I really want to, they've been on the fence forever and I really want to enroll them, you know, could you help me out with this fee? And for me, I just did that recently with one of our new builders on the call, and it makes me happy to do that because I can do that. I have the ability with, what I'm making with doTERRA to get that forward. So feel free to ask your support upline to do that, because we're here to help you out and we want to help you build that team and be successful. So yes, definitely jump on those opportunities to get some new people on your team by talking about BOGOs and really just sharing your enthusiasm. So the next piece, I know it's kind of a lot of pieces, you have to start prioritizing what are the action steps. For me, this is really looking at all my lists. I have my 100 lists that are new customers. I have my reactivation lists. I have my regular customers. I have my builders. So start kind of thinking about what's most important when you are going to do everything. Because if you don't schedule it and make the time for these steps, it's just going to pass you by. So definitely make the time, schedule it, prioritize, and be brave. I know sometimes when we're reaching out to people, we're afraid of that rejection or the ghost. Liza and I were talking about this with Jen and Dani yesterday. I've been ghosted so many times, but then I look at all the times I wasn't ghosted and someone responded to me and they were excited and they wanted to learn, and then they tried something that changed their life or their family. So be brave. People are waiting to learn more. And, for the 3 people that ignore you, that one is waiting to get your text or your call or your email or your, coffee, let's go get coffee somewhere, social distance, whatever. But people are waiting for this. So you are doing a service. Don't be afraid of that. And if someone doesn't want oils right now, it's not their time yet. So let them be. You put a little something in their ear or in their mind, and they're going to remember it down the road. So
I have
be brave.
to jump in, Kate, because this is so yes, a no now doesn't mean a no forever. And I say this all the time, but I think people think I'm full of it, but it's true. Every month, I'm literally enrolling 1 or 2 people that I have talked up to for years. And that ghosting thing, I've posted pictures of responses from people like, I'm so glad you never stopped texting me. I knew there was a reason why I didn't ask you to stop. And literally, I had texted these people not like incessantly, but once every few months for, I would say, a year or 2 with 0 response. Now, I always kind of put that disclaimer like, hey, if you don't want to get these texts from me, just let me know. People tend to just ignore it altogether and not respond. But I've literally gotten texts from people saying, I'm so glad. I knew there was a reason why I didn't tell you to stop texting me. And then they enroll. And so, you cannot take that silence personally, but I cannot stress enough what Kate is saying and how true it is. You just never know when somebody's going to be ready and when it's their time and when they're ready to embrace what you're offering. And so, yeah, don't let that ghosting get in your head, because it'll mess you up.
It will. And don't let it. I agree. Be brave. All right. So after you kind of have your priorities, just start to plan it. What am I going to do first? What's going to come next? Obviously, beginning of November, hopefully you've already communicated promos and holiday to your teams. If not, it's not too late. You can still do it. There's still a ton of holiday products out there. So I like to just shoot a text to all my people, and my builders. Usually, sometimes I think they copy and paste mine, which I really don't care because I've spent the time and they can save time if they just use mine, and they can change it, of course. Right now, definitely be inviting. We have a new round of oil studies coming up. Our pre-class study class is Monday night, or Monday at 5, I should say. This is kind of perfect timing. We kind of talked about this before, but it's this hope it might be the same week as BOGOs. So that would be kind of a fun education series that we can do with our oil study people. Invite to one-on-one classes. We have so many classes. We have lifestyle overviews on Wednesdays. Janice taught the one today. I think Janice is doing the one next week, and then Liza's doing one in 2 weeks. We have continuing ed class, invite. Make your BOGO plan with your team. Think about how you're going to promote on social media. This is a whole topic in itself. With social media, I like to post mine every day. I try to always put in personal ways I'm using the oil, so I'm not just doing the cookie cutter, use Breathe for this, but my family uses it for this, or Ryan and Rhea do it this way. So make your promotion on social media personalized, so people can connect because they want to connect with you. And then track your back office. Place those orders where they're needed, like we talked about earlier. All right, so now the last couple things I want to talk about is kind of, how do I track it? I've done all this promotion. I've got my team, got this momentum. How do I check throughout the month how I'm going so I can continue to support where I'm needed? So this is just kind of a little snapshot of my team, and hopefully my team doesn't mind I'm doing this. But one of the systems I use, I don't always use my rank tracker because I've kind of got it in my head because I've been doing it for so long. But if you're first going for rank, I definitely suggest your rank tracker. But for me, my goal this month is platinum. And so for me to be platinum, Dani, Jen, and Tani all need to be silver. Really exciting. And so we've already talked about these goals, and these are also their goals, which works really well because we have that communication. And so for Dani, Jan, and Tani to be silver, they need to have 3 elites. So what I like to do in my notebook, which is like crazy, I have so many notes in there, but I like to just look at all 9 of these teams, and each time I check my back office or when I'm tracking it, I'll write down what their volume is. So in those empty boxes on 10-4, which is today, I would put the volume of Beth, Jen, and the other Jen, there's 2 Jens on Dani's team, and Ray, Lisa, and Milani, and so forth. So I can see what their volume is, and I can already see which teams are almost to 3,000, and I can see which ones aren't. Which ones are going to need more support, which means maybe more orders I place there, which could be more when I enroll someone where I place them. And then it can also help Dani strategize and Janice strategize and so forth. When they have the extra orders, I can be like, okay, where are you guys going to put them? And we can work together to make sure we are like optimizing every PV that we have. And so I do this every, especially if it's a big month like this, I'll track it a few, at least maybe 5 times in my notebook, especially that last week of BOGOs, or I'll track it like every day. And it's actually, I don't know, I'm kind of a numbers geek, but I like to see how those numbers are going up. And it's good to see those patterns with your teams, because then you'll know how they're going to kind of perform next month, and you can be a little bit more strategic about placements of new people, and so forth. And of course, then not only placements, but supporting those new builders in those places. So that is just kind of my little brain child here, this little table I do. And I love to track my back office. So a couple of tips for your back office as you're tracking this month. Use your team genealogy tab to get all sorts of information about your team. You can look at overall volume for certain builders, last order dates, standard orders versus LRP. You can look up someone's cell phone number if you don't have it yet, so at least you are able to contact them a little bit more efficiently. And then you can also organize those columns from least to greatest or vice versa. You just click the header of that column to organize it one way. And then if you didn't like it that way, just click it again and it will flip it. I use this to organize OV. So I'll just click OV, and it will organize who has the highest OV to lowest on my team. So I can fill out that table. I'll use it to look up last order dates. And I also, because then I can see who placed orders recently. I can check LRP dates and do those reminders to update carts. I can also do the last order date for reactivations. And then for this one, I just thought of for people who are about to maybe upgrade to be wellness advocates, I can see when they enrolled, because enrollment date is another thing that you can track on there. So I did a little screenshot, and I didn't want to put my customer names because I wanted this call to be able to be recorded and replayed. But this, if you haven't played around with your team genealogy, play around with it. It's kind of fun, and there's a lot to look in there. So if you look at those available columns and the displayed columns, you can move over different column headers just by clicking on, which one you want, and then you click this arrow to pull it into the displayed column, and you can actually organize it using the up and down on which part of the table you want it, and then you press update report. So the columns I have here are my favorite. They have the name, the level, ID number, last order date, a next LRP date, and then I get to see the last 2 months of volume, and then the next LRP PV. Just kind of an easy view for me to see usually everything I want to see. And then one thing that you definitely want to be doing this month, just to be of service, is you're going to make sure this month that when people are ordering holiday stuff and also their BOGOs, that they're ordering on their LRP. If they currently have an LRP, we want to make sure they get all those points. So in your back office, you can track that. And I like this kind of new update they did recently, maybe it was a few months ago, but if you can see here, they have a column that's PV and then LRP PV. And so you want to make sure these numbers match, because if one of these, if the PV was 220 and the LRP was only 100, that would tell you right away that that person ordered 120 PV as a standard order. So you want to make sure these numbers are matching. And if they don't, that means they have a standard order. And so what you can do to double check that is you click on those numbers that are underlined, and you'll get to see what they ordered, and it will say either auto ship, like it does on this little screenshot, AS, or it will say SO for standard order. So you can double check that. And then if they did a standard order, you want to contact them and just say, hey, I don't want you to miss out on points. Contact customer service and just let them know you want to change that order to a LRP. And then they'll be grateful for you because you just got them their free points that they were going to miss out on. Yes, there's so much to do in the back office, and this month the back office is going to be really busy. So make sure you're looking at your back office every day, especially this week with holiday stuff and then with BOGOs approaching. And then I just wanted to end with this quote. Enthusiasm is one of the most powerful engines of success. Nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm. And so as we move into this month, be enthusiastic. Your teams are looking up to you, your customers, your builders. And so that enthusiasm you have, it will be infectious. And this is a good month to be enthusiastic. We definitely want to keep rolling forward. So thank you. It's a lot of talking. Hopefully I covered a lot of good stuff that was helpful.
Are you kidding me? That was amazing. That wasn't just good. That was seriously amazing. All your graphics, everything you shared. Seriously, that was awesome. Thank you, Kate, for putting so much time and energy into that presentation tonight. Yeah, there's nothing left to say. I mean, you have to have a goal. You have to know how you're going to execute. You have to use the tools, tool set, skill set, mindset, right? Tool set, skill set, mindset. So thank you, Kate, for touching on a little bit of all of those areas and helping us to get prepared for an epic month. Yeah, that was just really awesome. One thing I wanted to say before we send off, Janelle, people still get points for one-time orders. You get half of your shipping back in free product with half of your shipping that you paid in free product points. And on your initial order, people also get their shipping back in free product points on their very first order from doTERRA. So sometimes people will have some random points built up in their account, even when they're not on LRP. But if they like having that and they're using them, that's even more of an incentive for them to get on LRP. Tool set, skill set, mindset, right? So the tool set is the tools that we have, like the back office, the planners that Kate talked about, the rank trackers. The mindset is our belief that we can make this happen, and that we will make this happen, and that we're going to do the work to make this happen. And then the skill set is your ability to actually execute, follow through, get it done, and meet your goals. So thank you so much. Let's turn on our cameras and take a quick team pic before we say good night. There goes all of my peoples logging off. Dani hears it because she's a co-host, so she hears all the little dings, dings. All right. Okay. Thank you for turning your cameras on. All right. Let's take a team pic. Okay, smile. And I'm going to go to the next screen. I got a couple extra. Okay, one more. Smile. All right, everybody. As usual, thank you for showing up for yourselves, for your businesses, for your community. And seriously, huge shout out to Dani and Kate. Tonight was seriously epic. You guys killed it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a great week. Shucks, there was something I wanted to mention and I totally forgot. So, oh wow. Go get your holiday products. Be sure to tell your customers about them. And
hey, can we mention Diane?
Be sure to tell your
Diana?
customers about them. Oh, okay, yeah, sure. So we well, do you want? Okay, yeah, sure. So we you mention it because you organized it, so I think it would be better. No? Okay.
Okay. So on Facebook, you might have saw, hopefully if you didn't, then please send me a message or somebody on here a message. So Diana, she's, you guys probably all know Diana, right? Shake your head. She has, of course, her husband is on the mainland right now.